If I give a statement, I'm an independent person, I give a statement to police for a purpose, that purpose is criminal prosecution, it doesn't automatically follow that you have the right to my statement. There are little things in that, and I don't want to get into it now. So when you say you're entitled to it, on any moral judgment, of course you are.
In
Absolutely.
for a criminal
in
trial,
a process,
you are. Yeah.
In a process,
Yeah.
you might be, but that's the Crown Prosecution Service that would be entitled to it, not necessarily. There are niceties of law that sometimes defy common sense. And I don't want to make a comment here, and then you say, well, hold on a second, you said I could have everything. I've seen the list, I've seen some of it, and some of it makes perfect sense that you could have, and I'd see no reason why not. There are other elements on there, I can see why it might not be natural, because we would have to go to the person and say, are you okay for the family to have this statement? And they may say, not really. I would expect you to have been told that if you've made a reasonable request for it. But so those practicalities, I think, I can hopefully help with, definitely.
Yeah.
But I do think, given where you are in your position, bearing in mind you're not now going to give the new evidence either to me or to the IAPC, then that new evidence has to go. You've limited yourself. I don't mean that to sound critical. You have one route now, which is through.
Well, it's not
Attorney
actually a
General,
case
is
that
it?
we're not giving you the evidence. The Met Police have the CCTV, so go back to Alperton Police Station, get the CCTV and watch it for yourself.
Okay, so I'm not going to start reinvestigating something without the grounds to do so. And whilst I've listened to everything that you've said today, what I would ask for...
You've not just listened.
I've seen some CCTV, yes, and if I'm honest, I just don't know enough to interpret it the way you have. I'm not questioning what you have interpreted.
Yeah, it's not our interpretation. Nick's very good at writing things like that. You know that I understand that's your interpretation. No, these are facts.
And I don't doubt it.
All right. Listen, I know how corrupt everyone is. So until you start doing something to show me that there is some sort of honesty somewhere in your bones to do the wrongdoing, undo the wrongdoing, that your force that you represent, that does not have a good name anymore, yeah, for 3 murdered children. Could have been 5, could have been 8, because there was another 3 walking towards. And you imagine how you feel if that was yours.
It's not going away.
Matthew, just
Not
for
going away.
completeness, just so that everyone understands. Let's change the plan. Let's change the plan so that the families were happy for you to see everything that they've seen and look at it through their eyes with a new investigation team and for you to reopen the investigation. And just what would you actually do?
Yeah, that's different if you open the investigation.
What would you?
So, an option.
What could you do? Yeah.
And I wouldn't commit in this room now.
No.
I'll be straightforward with you. It would be unfair to do so. But what I would definitely commit to is to consider any new evidence, and I have within my part of the my direct part, the Homicide and Serious Crime Review Group, which are experienced investigators that have all been senior investigators for homicide and other serious crime, and we will do a internal review. That is an option.
Internal review.
Well, it's an internal aspect, is that they're all Met officers. I might as well be straight up with you.
I just want you, apart from my understanding, to know what Matthew might be able to enable if that were different.
Yeah.
So there is a team that could look at the case,
But it's internal.
but
No.
Yeah, they're Met officers.
you're not interested.
Yeah, no. Let me tell you just this one last thing. When I signed the victim impact statement and the police officer, which is what I'll call them now, came round my house and he told me it wasn't a crime against my son. It was a crime against the state. I'm telling you now, and you, that was a crime against my son. The state don't own my son. It was a crime against my son. That was a crime against me. His siblings, his family, his friends, and the same for George and Helen. And something needs to be done about it. Because I won't give up doing what I'm doing.
No. Okay. Do you mind if I just
No
keep this
matter
division
what.
between
Yes.
the performance of the police
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes, of
securing a
course.
retrial.
Yeah.
So on securing a retrial, as we've always said, all the feedback we need fresh evidence. It sounds like you're very clear in your mind that you have got fresh evidence. So
And witnesses.
in terms of how this might happen, my understanding is that as we've identified before, it's kind of the Attorney General.
Yeah.
So it starts with the most senior law officer in the land. I think you should have a meeting, and I will say that I think you should have a meeting. So that's what.
Why couldn't you have got us that before then? What would be different this time to before? Twice we've tried now, and twice we've been.
Because Trace, as I've always said it. Everything I've heard back from the system, and you don't trust the system. I know that.
No,
it
absolutely not.
said
That's based
the
on
law.
evidence.
The law took its course based on and the CPS felt that the process was done fairly, and two sets of different judges, got to the same view. So if you're sitting there as the Attorney General thinking this has been through a process, everyone's telling me that the process was done properly. Of course, we've got families who don't agree with that. But what I'm saying here is you've come here saying this is new evidence. The only way you can reopen a case in a trial is through new evidence. You have brought new evidence. That is what I would tell the Attorney General, which is the reason why I will say to him, I think you need to meet the families.
George, Harry, justice for the free. I just don't think you understand. We're gonna make some noise. They took away our boys. Now we're gonna shame the police. Josh, George, Harry, justice for the free. I just don't think you understand. We're gonna make some noise. They took away our boys. Now we're gonna shame the police. Josh, George, Harry, justice for the free. I just don't think you understand. We're gonna make some noise. They took away our boys. Now we're gonna shame the police.